Hey guys, and welcome back. It is now day in quarantine, and two most important questions are, one, when will we be allowed outside? And two, did Carol Baskins kill her husband? So since we're all on lockdown, I went ahead and developed some film. I have to order more color chemicals because I'm out. But I did manage to develop some black and white, and the first roll I developed is from the Pentax Minisport 35 AF. I took this on a trip with me to New Orleans. I was up there for work, so I had a roll of black and white TMax-400 in here. Didn't have a whole lot of time to actually kind of explore and make the most out of it. I had about 15-30 minutes when I went and got coffee first thing in the morning, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then there was one afternoon where we had about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I got to take this into an abandoned building. Unfortunately, it was TMax-400, so I couldn't go quite as far as I wanted to with it. But I didn't want to push it because I knew I wouldn't use the whole roll in there just because I didn't have time, and I didn't want to shoot 8 to 1600 walking around downtown and probably blow everything out. Since I was traveling for work, I didn't have much room for anything else. I had a whole bunch of other equipment, and this is the only thing I brought film-wise. This is a very basic point-and-shoot camera, no extra frills or any gadgets or anything that is unnecessary. It's very simple, straightforward, to the point. There's only one button that you really need to know, which is the big red one on top, and that is the shutter button. This little lever here opens the door to the lens, which is nice, so that's nice and covered up. And you cannot press the shutter unless that is open. Once you open it, that goes down and you can press it and take your shot. On the bottom, you have the film rewind button right here, and then over on this side is the door to open the film door. That is it. No extra buttons or anything. The flash is right here up on the top left-hand side. You simply push it up and now the flash is engaged. So you know it's not going to just fire whenever it thinks it should. It will not fire unless you want it to by pushing that up. Now once you push that up, there's a little light here on the back that shows the power of the flash. There's a 6-second recharge time for flash. So if you're planning on just spraying out a bunch of shots, you'll have to wait 6 seconds in between if you're going to use the flash for each one. Also next to that is the film rewind little indicator there. So it's like a black and yellow kind of knob, and that'll spin until the film is floating around and then it'll stop. Next to that is your viewfinder. It is nice, it's big, the lines showing your composition are decent, you know, they're pretty bright. The viewfinder has got a nice size to it. It's not really tiny or anything like other point and shoots, so that is nice. Other than the frames, there is nothing in there except for a red light that will blink if the camera believes you need to engage the flash. Otherwise, that's it. So if I'm pointing like this, let's see, I'll have a red light that pops up, and once I pop open the flash, that red light goes away. So that's kind of nice. It just tells you about your lighting situation. This is the sport camera, so it's got this nice little strap here, which is cool. It can kind of tighten up to your hand, which I think is nice, instead of having the long ones that you kind of wrap around your whole arm. In addition to that, you have the rubber grip here, which I really liked on this camera. Also, it's built pretty well. It is plastic, but it seems really solid, more so than an Olympus MJU or the Stylus Epic, all that. This seems like it could take a little bit more of a beating, seeing as how it is a sport camera. This will only accept coated film, so you can't choose your ISO. I think it takes 100, 200, 400, 800, and 1600. I believe that is it. I couldn't find a whole lot of information on this, probably because it's not a super popular camera. I'm sure if I did some more digging I could, but off the bat, just looking through Google and everything, I found a manual, not a whole lot of reviews or forums or information on this, which is nice because that means you can get it at a good price. So let's talk about the actual image quality. Let's just set that down and pop this up, show you some images. So I will say that I'm not a huge fan of TMax film. I just don't really like the grain structure or how it works. I know for a black and white, it's just not really my favorite. And this is also expired film, so that might have something to do with it, I'm not sure. So first off, I will say that this does not do well with shots that are in that 5-foot range as far as picking out focus. So I think this is more geared towards, you know, documenting your life or kind of walking around, taking pictures on your way to work or walking downtown, the streets like that. But I wouldn't say it's ideal for portraits. This is probably one of the first shots we taken on here. The Jack took this picture of me. As you can see, I think I'm kind of in focus, but it might be slightly out. And you can just see overall it's not very sharp, not crisp. I think that focus is still slightly out, but this is about that 5-foot range. I have seen where people kind of compare this to low-mo cameras because you just don't know what you're gonna get as far as what's in focus. I don't know if I would go that far. I think it more so just depends on the circumstances you're kind of putting yourself in. Of course, I've only used this for one roll of film, and most of my stuff didn't have a lot of depth, so I might have to do a few more rolls just before I kind of fully agree with that statement. This is outside my house. It's one of the last shots I took just to kind of finish the roll off. This is basically into direct sunlight. I just wanted to kind of see how the light meter worked and how it interpreted that. Not too bad, I would say. I will say right now on these images, I did DSLR scan them and I did very minor editing. The only thing I did was kind of drop the highlights and bring up the shadows. Other than that, this is kind of how it is. So shooting this directly into sunlight, I think that's kind of, I would say that's actually pretty good. It didn't blow out the shadows and it didn't blow out the highlights. I think it read that pretty well, which is nice. So the abandoned building, just outside walking into it. And these shots here from the outside look really good. The contrast is nice, the texture, everything looks good. As far as sharpness, not bad. And inside of the building, I did use the flash and you can kind of see where that falls off. It's unbelievable. It's like 5 stories. You got all these massive windows, all the glass is busted out. It's some sort of old warehouse. It's pretty popular. I won't say the exact building. This one didn't come out too well. Again, you can see I shot the flash there. Another one, and I'll show you some of the ones I took with my Fuji as well, just so you get a better idea, since I had more room with ISO on that. This is outside my hotel room. Again, I was there for work, so I had a good view. I was downtown. I think this is the morning I got offered crack for breakfast. In his defense, he did say I could try before I buy. Nice guy. Nothing really wakes you up like somebody offering you crack for breakfast. Tell you what, 6:30 in the morning. We were also there at the convention center. So Mardi Gras World is right down the street. We were able to walk over there, take pictures of the boat out there, kind of walk around. So we got these ones. These are out in broad daylight. So these aren't bad. I mean, no issue focusing. Obviously, these are more landscape style pictures. They're much further back. The contrast is good. It's decently sharp for what it is. I'm not comparing this to any high-end film cameras or digital cameras or anything. This one at Mardi Gras World is probably the crispiest, most crisp, sharpest picture out of the bunch. Don't know why, but it is. The focus is accurate, all the lines look great, the highlights, shadows, everything's on point. This one actually came out pretty well. It's a pretty good shot. So this shot here, this construction worker, is another one of those shots where I'm saying it doesn't really pick the focus well. Obviously I wanted him to be in focus. Obviously this camera is probably center heavy on focus, if not strictly center focused. So it looks like it might have picked up that truck in the back or maybe just past him on the dash of his car, but you can see where that kind of missed there. This lady walking down the street, no problems there. Looks like she's dead centered and she is in focus, which is good there. Saw these guys walking back to my hotel. I actually kind of like the shot, and I didn't realize I'd caught him laughing until after I developed the film, so that's kind of cool. But this one is kind of weird because it looks like he's in focus. He's definitely not center of the image. He's 4 feet ahead of the guys that are center of the image, but it picked out him in the focus, which is interesting. My buddy Zeke, and he's just about center. This is about 5 feet away, and it completely disregarded him in focus, and it picked up whatever's going on in the background there. And I actually really like this shot. I did not use the flash in this strictly because I wanted to kind of silhouette him. I did bring up the shadows just a bit. I don't know why. I should have just left it a silhouette. I kind of liked it better that way. But so that kind of a shot I really did enjoy, and it's nice that I could turn the flash off to make sure that I got what I wanted there. Another one here, walking to my hotel, taking a picture of this guy. Again, kind of testing light with those sharp highlights and shadows. Not too bad there. That reading is pretty accurate, I think. So this is one of the last shots I took as well, kind of in my house. And you can see these flowers are basically dead centered, and I'm about 3 to 5 feet away. Again, it completely disregarded them and picked up the background. So this kind of goes again basically back to what I was saying about this probably isn't something you want to use if you're going to do a lot of portraits, especially 5 feet up. I mean, if you're hanging out with a group, maybe skateboarding, anything like that, or anything past 5 feet, I think you're pretty safe as long as you make sure you center your subject, and that'll be in focus. But if you don't want your subject in focus, or you want something like you saw earlier, this could be a cool shot. And honestly, it kind of adds to it when your subject isn't always in focus. It kind of gives it more of a real feeling to it. And I think it can actually make that shot more valuable to you personally, sometimes when it's not in focus. So as far as shots go, that is it for the Pentax Minisport 35 AF. The lens I forgot to mention, it has of course a 35mm 3.8 lens on it. And this isn't a bad camera. Will this stay in my personal collection? Probably not. I don't think this is something that I would use enough, and I really need to consolidate what I have. So for that purpose, I think I'll end up either selling this or possibly giving it away. Let me know if you have any thoughts on that. It's a fun camera. Again, great for what it is. It's got a cool style to it. It's just, for me personally, I don't think I would use it enough to justify keeping it and letting it collect dust on a shelf. So that is going to wrap it up for the Pentax Minisport 35 AF. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. If there's another camera you think is kind of similar to this, I would love to hear about it. Whether it is a Lomo camera or another 35mm point and shoot, kind of on a playing field that maybe is a little bit better or kind of on par with that. I would love to hear about it and let me know what your thoughts are on the image quality in the 35 AF. So I hope you're all staying sane during this quarantine, and I will see you in the next one.